The art of bassoon reed making, competition stories, and snorkeling with Dr. Shuo Li. Stay inspired. Shelly, I know you're in Hawaii right now.
Yes.
I've been following your Instagram. It's so cool seeing all of your photos of the ocean. Could you tell us how it's going there and working with the Hawaii Symphony?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here, and it's has been absolutely wonderful so far being able to be in Hawaii and also being able to play with people, with the full orchestra, especially after this past year. So I every day I woke up feeling absolutely grateful and enjoying and loving every minute of my time here. I feel like everywhere I visit is a highlight to me. Just so many beautiful places. I did went on hiking and I think twice already. During the time we were off and with friends and also many beaches for sure. And the bus I'm taking from the neighborhood to work actually dropped me off right by a beach. So I always make sure, because it's an hourly bus, so I would get to the hall way too early. So I just make sure I stop by the beach and do a little walk before I head to work. Even though I go there every day, and sometimes I would even take a bus there to have a morning run, but I never get sick of it. I still love it every day.
You got to see a pineapple farm and seeing how the pineapples.
Yeah. Actually, we passed by a pineapple farm on the way to actually a snorkeling trip. So that's the pineapple field was the first time I see how pineapple field looks like, and that's so different than I would have pictured. So yeah, so I've been seeing lots of things that I before, and every day, even just some kind of different types of flowers would make me so excited and just so appreciate the mother nature, how amazing it is. And the pineapples are really good here. The best tasting pineapples I had in my life. So yes, I've been obsessed with the pineapples for sure, and mangoes.
Yum. Have you had, is it like an acai bowl or like a fruit bowl where you have, the smoothie and then you get all the yummy fruit decorated on it?
Oh, I haven't get my hand on those fancy things yet, but I just know whenever I go to the grocery store, I just, always make sure I grab some pineapples with me.
How was snorkeling?
I mean, I swim, do laps before, but I've never done snorkeling before. So I went with a group of colleagues, and most of them were very experienced, and some of them even be able to do the deep free diving or those kind of things. So they're really experienced, but I stayed in a really shallow area, and thanks to my landlord, she lent me her mask and everything. So I just tried, dabbled a little bit, but I did see some fish, which is very exciting. Just even in the really shallow area. But yeah, I'm thinking to do more of it, and then to see if I'm able to go to a deeper area and see more fish.
With your concerts, what was really cool about the programming is that y'all have been highlighting Hawaiian composers.
Yeah, it's a mix of everything, the standard, the classical stuff, or such as Mendelssohn 3, which we'll be playing next week, which is very exciting, and or some rediscover some of the composers, such as the piece we played this week, the symphony by I think Florence Price, I think that's her name, right? Florence Price. And then they make sure to include a piece composed by a Hawaiian composer. And so far up to this week, it has been works by Michael Thomas Fumai. It was really nice that they're doing it, because I never played pieces composed by Hawaiian composers, and it's really great to get to know. Yeah.
Cassandra has asked about playing in Hawaii. So does the climate really affect your reeds or your instrument? And then she wrote, I know bicycles and cars usually get worn down more quickly near the sea, and and all the salt water kind of eating away the metal.
Right. Yeah, so far I haven't noticed any like erosion in my bassoon. I'll keep my eyes on it. Thanks for the tip, Casey. But the reed, I feel like my reeds are happy. I don't know, because I feel like the altitude would do, like, would affect much more than the humidity or like the different type of climate. I think so far my reeds have been happy. So yeah, so they're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, and how are you finding playing outdoors?
So that's what I wanted to share too. It's like, especially after not being able to play with orchestra for like over a year, I found that I lost the sense of projection. I found like my sound is kind of small. And by also like being outside, just like I just need to get out of, my little box. Yeah, much more than thought I would need to. So as my colleague and I were talking about, like, his, like people say, you need to project to the last row of audience. And since over there, just like it's the ocean, so you just make sure you project to the ocean. I think that's a good way to think of it.
That's amazing. Or like thinking about, where are you projecting, to New Zealand or California or Canada?
They just opened it, the lawn seating, I think, for this week. So it's really nice to see people, bring families and picnics and sitting in the lawn. So we're getting more and more audiences because, like they're open more and more seats. So it's very nice to see.
I wanted to ask you more about your love of reed making, Shelly. Could you share with us what you enjoy about making reeds and any tips on how to be successful with reed making?
The thing, I just feel like reed making calms me down somehow, even though, it sounds weird because most of the time, like you get one out of many and it's supposed to be a frustrating, thing to do. But I just, first of all, I always enjoyed like handcraft projects since kindergarten. Just anything, those kind of classes is my favorite. So I don't know, maybe because when I make reads, I feel like all my focus is on, just like on this project itself. So it's like a nice distraction from everything else that's, more frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me to see the differences I made, or like this, even just slight change of some script, or like, just like some angle to even to see the read, to look at the read. It's just fascinating to see like how little thing make a huge difference when you try on the read. I was told by my teacher, Mr. Kamens, that you just have to make lots of reads in order to have, the consistency of having good read. So, and the best time to make reads is when you have good reads. Also, I found that read making also helped me to practice, to have the mindset I prefer, and such as, non-judgmental way of thinking. and just look at it as it is. If something happened, if it's the cane, or if it's your scraping went wrong, you did too much, or you didn't do enough, just look at it as it is, instead of link it to I made this mistake and this read now is the bad one and I'm a bad person. So just look at it as, and then for next read, I just want to make sure I'm not going to make the same mistake. And also another thing is just letting go of things, especially the things you don't have control. Is we don't have control most of the time. They have the quality of cane. So we can try to be to have as much control as possible, but that's very limited still. So sometimes I would have a read either so free flowing, just love how easy it plays, or it just have really nice tone. But if it doesn't have intonation and response, or response and intonation, I just have to let it go because I cannot use it in rehearsals or concerts. So regardless how much I like it, or how pretty the rapping looks like, I just have to let it go. So I feel like that's also a good practice, for myself, for my own growth, through read making, not just about the read itself, but also about everything else.
Shelly, do you have an assembly line process with your reed making that you could share with us?
I remember back at Rice, Mr. Kamens required us to make at least 6 reads per week. So I have been doing that, especially if I don't have much time to make more than that. I make sure I make 6 per week. And that's also how I calculated how many blanks I have to bring to Hawaii. And because I don't have my machines, I have to bring blanks. So, and I remember he explained it to us. It's 6, reads. It's enough for you to at least have one that work, but also it's not overwhelmingly a lot, because at school you have lots of other things as well. Mm-hmm. But I found 6 is a good number to at least to begin with. And if I have time, or I didn't get anything out of the 6, which happens, so I would just make as many as I need to in order to I have to find one that works.
So Shelly, I wanted to ask you about practice tips, and just was reminiscing on meeting you at Meg Quigley about maybe 10 years ago.
I would make sure regardless how many pieces I have to deal with, I have to finish the fundamental routine every day. Even just half an hour, I have to do fundamentals. Even just I have more than that, I would do more. But just fundamentals every day, that's non-negotiable, because that's the foundation to be what I would need for all of the pieces I need to play. And then I was taught, and also I'm big on slow practice, especially not just for technical stuff. I found slow practicing to slow practice for the musicality, or my plans, the phrasing, dynamic plans, or intensity plans. Just I feel slow practice will just just enlarge what I need to do, and to make me to see if it actually works, or if I'm doing it. So sometimes I found slow practice is maybe even more effective for practicing the musical stuff. And then I make sure I play for people as many as I could get. For sure, even for Meg Quigley, I remember, because I was a sophomore, so I played for people who in junior year, yeah. So they have, because they're more advanced, and then they give them share lots of great advice.
Is there something you could share with us of something you wish you knew about like the music industry or about pursuing a career in music when you were just starting out?
I feel like after I graduated, I feel like it's not like I know everything, but I feel like all of my trainings ever since middle school, because I went to a music middle school. So I feel like it has always been preparing me for this path. So I didn't feel like anything specifically was like a huge surprise. Like I feel like, oh, I'm in trouble or like anything. So I feel like of educations or experience in festivals or like just like playing with friends or like like watch how my friend works or like get into this career. I feel like that has been very helpful to me. So up to this point, there's nothing specific like a shock, like surprise to me. So yeah, but like no, I know like it's just impossible to know everything or to be 100 prepared for any career. So I feel like going through this career path itself is like a learning process. Continue to learn.
Richard has mentioned West Texas is drier and higher, so reads much lighter. Yeah. And then the orange peel method was recommended by Hans Monig. Richard has asked, have you met Kevin Hall yet? Retired principal of the Fort Worth Symphony now, who's in Hawaii?
Oh, I haven't, but I would love to. I don't know if he. I don't know him personally, but I don't know if he is in Oahu Island or some other islands, because I know some people would prefer to live in other islands when it's like less people, like more like in touch with the nature. Yeah, but I would love to meet him if I get a chance.
Do you have any music book recommendations for people to check out?
I have one music and one is not necessarily music, but has been very helpful to me. The music book, I really like everybody knows the sound emotion. I feel like that really speaks to me, especially on like the musicality and how to phrase and also there's so many great quotes from the legendary teachers, not just bassoonists but also the oboe professors. And so I really enjoyed that. And also the book that's not necessarily the music book, but was very helpful to me was the Inner Game tenets. I'm sure many people know that. But I really like that book. I feel like it draws my attention to a different way of look at things when I play.
So Richard's made a comment about David's book. David was one of the best explanations of Tabuto's system of phrasing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Is there a bassoon composition that you could recommend for us to check out?
I personally love all the French pieces and the French conservatory pieces. I mean, right now they're not like the most like the modern pieces, but yeah, just any of the. I just love the harmony. And, yeah.
Is there a course from university that comes to mind that you wish had been offered?
Not that they didn't offer. I feel like all they provided I was happy with, but I just wish I took some of the courses when I was at school, such as jazz improvisation class. I so wish I took that in undergrad. Also because Oberlin was, really big on jazz category. So I really wish I did that. I feel like that'll free up my mind even more, like, open my eyes more. But also, I personally enjoy listening to jazz music albums or like a radio, even though I don't specifically know certain like names, but I just enjoy listening to them.
Could you tell us about your bassoon?
Yeah, I'm playing a 10,000 series Heckle. It's like an early 10, and I got it in the end of my junior year in college. Before I got the 10, I tried a 9, but somehow the left hand key setup seems weird a little bit, and the bassoon seems a little bit raw in a way. I don't have to describe it, but yeah, I just don't feel that's right. So we've just passed that one. And then later, there was a lady, I think she was from Wisconsin. I could be wrong, but she's, I don't think she's a professional bassoonist playing like orchestra or like anything. And she happened to have this 10,000, and her and Mr. Saki got in contact. And so the bassoon sent to Mr. Sakakini, and he tried it. I tried it, even though the pads were like leaking and stuff. But I just feel like it has potential. Like like I feel like I like it, and so we just like bought that one. I remember the lady visited Oberlin, and we did all the paperwork. And I remember she was a little bit emotional, to let the bassoon go. And sometimes even when I think about it, if one day I had to let my bassoon go, I will be so emotional, So yeah, so I had this bassoon before I even like play any more notes on it. Mr. Sakin was super kind to bring this to the shop to get it fixed on his way to Interlaken. When he was teaching at Interlaken during summers, so shop was still using the school's 12,000 for like music festival and stuff. So after I get back, and then the bassoon shipped back, so I just been using that since.
Shelly, Richards shared a comment, the early 10,000s have a nice ringing sound.
Yeah, it is it's really comfortable to play, and I like how easy it is. And the sound too. Because I remember some of my other teachers tried it to make sure my setup is, it's fine, and they all liked it. Then they said, like, I don't think you would need, absolutely need to, change your bassoon or, anything. Oh, that's good.
Who works on your 10,000 series?
Oh, it has always been Ken Potsick. And him only. Yeah, he was in Michigan then, so that was sent to him, and he has been the only repairman I went to, even though he has moved to different places through the years, but it always goes to and I really like his work.
Yeah, and then Richard has shared that his 10,000 series is very close to Richard Savoda's.
Also, that lady somehow, I forgot exact number, but about what she also brought 11 vocals. So to ask Mr. Sakini if she could also somehow to help to sell those. So I was allowed to pick 2 out of the 11 vocals that come with my bassoon purchase. So we just tried a bunch. So there's one CD2 that was really nice that I have been playing since, and my friends like that vocal too, so I'm glad with that. And then we also got a CD1 from that batch. Yeah, I have no idea what happened to the rest, but I picked those 2. Cool. And I'm always frustrated with vocal shopping, even though I would start, continue to try more vocal, but it just feels like it's just so frustrating to like pick another good one, you know. Sometimes you doubt like, is this like actually good, or like it's just like my read, or like, you know, just like some weird things. And I remember in summer festivals, because I only have this one vocal, good vocal I really like, and so I just like don't have anything else as a backup. And you know, like the size 2 vocal, like I would have nightmare, like vivid nightmare, just like my vocal just like broke or like bent, and I just like feel so sad. I had to go through the vocal, you know, like selecting process. But I have been like, you know, trying to look for more vocals and, you know, to find a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the reed thing, you know, like you need to make more reeds when you have good ones. So I think not too late to shop for vocal.
Richard has shared the CDs. Vocals favor upper register a little bit more.
Maybe because the rest, I remember most of the vocals she brought was CCs. There's some CCs. I feel like the CD somehow like works better. I mean, of course, I didn't try all of the CCs, you know, in the market, but like up to this point, the CCs I tried, I feel like compared to CDs, the CDs feel and sounded better in a way. Could be, I mean, of course, different from, you know, different bassoons or reed styles.
Richard's mentioned that Carol has a low C sharp E flat trill. Do you have any added trills, Shelly, or like things that you found your trill?
I don't think I have any added trill keys.
Flying into Hawaii, were you on a day or a morning time flight? Did you get to kind of see, looking down on the city and the islands?
Yeah, I got here in the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the sun was still high. I sat on the next aisle because I always pick the seats because I like the feeling more space and I don't want to bother other people. I was so regretted. I should have picked the window seat, especially on the right side if you're flying into Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I got to see a little bit from the window. It was absolutely gorgeous. Like I just started loving this place even before I landed. So even the captain was reminded us like, oh, we're going to see the Diamond Head, and then we'll flew by Pearl Harbor and everything. So at the moment, I mean, I saw the shoreline, the beach, and because the plane was already pretty low because the airport is really close to the downtown Honolulu. So, and I was able to see the you know, the hills, the mountains, and the ocean, the shoreline. And then when we passed by like a harbor thing, and everybody was like looking the window. What are they looking at? And as all of a sudden, I saw some of the ships, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Pearl Harbor! It's just right in front of me. Like after seeing it on movies, documentary films, and reading on textbooks, now it's just right there. And it was like, just that moment, just like so mind blowing in a way.
We can go ahead and close out our session. It has been such a joy.